Let's go.
Okay, welcome everyone to today's session from LYD Docs. It's on Document Masterclass on companies, one of my special areas which I love and have a lot of passion about. And I'm joined today by Ashleigh and Alicia, who's going to help me in the chat and answer any questions. I see people jumping in the chat already. I saw my friend Dave Sidhu's on there. We're having lunch together. Southport, Mr. PP, to talk all about LYD Docs and Succession Asset Protection Estate Planning Association and rolling out wills, which I've been doing a lot myself. I was speaking to Change GPS this morning. I've been doing a lot of wills and estate planning of late with a lot of LYD Docs members actually sitting on Zooms and helping run their first sessions with clients and working through their data capture and stuff, just to get a bit of confidence through the whole thing, and we've been doing a bit of a JV on the fees, which has been fantastic. But it's really good to see everyone jumping in, using the platform and using, especially all that estate planning stuff. It's great. So looking forward to today about running through companies. So do you want to jump into the agenda, Ash?
Yeah. So
today's agenda, we're doing an overview of the suite of companies. So we've got 5 companies on the LYD Docs platform. We'll talk about the main differences between those companies and other providers. We'll also run through how to establish each type of company and the various options available on them. We will also discuss the really cool new feature available on CAS 360 to do company establishments. I was down and ran one of the RegTech booths last week in Sydney. Funnily enough, I actually got stuck in Sydney. I was coming back from the national hockey titles, and Ben was flying down to run the booth, and he couldn't fly from Coolangatta to the floods, and I couldn't fly back to Coolangatta, so I had to leave the comfort of the Qantas lounge and my glass of Sauvignon Blanc to go and run a BGL RegTech booth in Sydney, which sort of almost got rained out as well. But it was good to get back on the sales tools and meeting everyone again and seeing everyone out face to face. But then we'll go through some FAQs and questions at the end. So.
Cool. I'll just run through this mix. So one of the main things is if you have any questions when you do any of our documents, we've always got different points of contact that you can go to. The quickest and easiest way, if you need help answering interviews or wondering where an ACN is or any errors that pop up in any of our documents, is to use the Surge app and go through your organisation support chat. So if you aren't on the new LYD Docs platform, definitely email Ben. And use your chats there. You can come to myself directly, you can go to Geraldine directly, or you can use your organisation chat. So use those chats as your first point of contact. If it's something simple, there's an error somewhere, or you just don't know how to do it, we are there all the time. So you shouldn't be waiting more than a minute or two. If you have a strategy specific question or a question about leading member or successor director or which company to use or why our document is different, or if there's an error in a document that you've noticed, something isn't reading properly, or you want to get something updated, Alicia is our manager of tech and strategy. So she's been working alongside Grant for 8 to 10 months now, I think, or quite a while. Yeah, nearly a year. So has a wealth of knowledge all about the sort of the not entry level, but those more simple strategy questions and tech questions where you don't need legal support. So if you need legal support, that's when our Abbott-Family team take over, and Alicia would escalate it for you. But if it's just that sort of strategy question, which company do I use? What is a successor director? Would this suit a successor director? You can go through to Alicia through her email, alicia@lyddocs.com.au, or you can just ask for her on your organisation chat in Surge and she'll pop straight in, usually only a few minutes behind. She is in Perth, but she is still online in our Brisbane hours. If you have any development problems, so with the interview itself or improvements you want to suggest or something more development based, you can come to me. And I'm in everybody's chat as a point of contact at the top under your team members. So you think something could be improved or it's not working properly, especially tomorrow we'll be releasing Fuse Sign for most of our documents, which will be fantastic. So if you have any concerns there, also XPM, which I'll show you a little bit of today and how to connect it, and then BGL CAS 360. So we're going to jump into a document now. My screen's still up.
Yeah. Do we want to run through the different types of companies first?
Sure. So You're all obviously using the Like Your Docs platform. Again, if you're not on this platform and this looks nothing like what you're using now, it means you're still using our old platform, and there are no companies available on there anymore. So you do need to move over here. So if you're not seeing this screen in your document wizard and you're seeing your old platform still, that platform does close down on the 25th of March. You would have all started to receive emails about downloading your documents. Make sure you get in and do that. Because that one will close down. So if you're not using this one, reach out to Ben and he'll move you over straight away. Once you come into your document wizard, you've got your basic sort of options here. You won't have my integrations on yours. I'm going to be demoing this on our testing server so that I can kind of bypass ASIC and actually create a company. Gary, okay, you've never used this platform, so no assumed knowledge. I'll try to go as slowly as I can.
Ashley is a quick talker, so.
Sorry, I'm from Adelaide. It's an Adelaide thing.
Sometimes I need to tell her slow down. Come back to MJ speed.
I'll go at Michael's speed. So if you have no assumed knowledge of the platform, I'll do my best. Otherwise, you are best after this, jump straight onto an email or a phone call with Ben, or just chuck a message on the chat now and we can have Ben call you back for a more in-depth demo of the entire platform, including the Surge app, which is how you access us, how you access the document wizard, and we can run you through it. So what you won't have within your own wizards at the moment is your integrations. So FuseSign is up and running. I have connected it here. If we've got time, I'll show you quickly how it works. But this is the only digital signing provider we're using at the moment. If you're already using FuseSign, you'll know how easy it is. It's one of the preferred providers for accountants. You don't have to connect it direct. You can upload your documents into any e-signing provider. We do give some guidance as to whether a document can be e-signed, and the legislation is quite different around the place. There's been. So we try to let you know whether we think you can sign a document. If you're not sure, reach out to Alicia and she can look into specific laws in your area. That's
certainly constantly changing as well, Ash, and we'll constantly update people because I mean, COVID's brought about a lot of changes, they put temporary changes into electronic signing. In the Corps Act and everything that I believe will become more and more permanent as we go on. So. Yeah.
So we'll try it. We won't be putting constant information about it up, but we'll give our guidance. And then because it's changing all the time, you're best just to go to Alicia for sort of state specific and document specific. None of our big documents, so if you're using the Moat and Castle or the Protector, they won't be available as e-signing. They're far too complex to allow that. You'll get very confusing with signature and signature groups and stuff and who needs to sign when, as that's very important. So those one won't be, but your simple SMSFs, companies, trusts, business documents and that will be available to sign through FuseSign. You will need your own FuseSign account, so we don't provide that. So you just need to sign up with FuseSign, come in here, connect it up, and then everything will work. Next, you all have my documents. This is where everything saves. So I'm actually using Michael's demo account here. And you've got all of the documents. You will start to see across the top here pending signature and sign. So if you are using FuseSign, we will track that within our platform as well. So you can see there's some signing going on in here. So you'll have two extra categories under your documents and statuses for your documents as well. But while we're all here, the main reason what we're doing for the next few months is document masterclasses on specific types of documents. So today we're looking at companies. We do it a little bit differently. Our system is we have a document engine that sits underneath our system. We're the only company that does it like this. The reason we do that is because it enables us to make really fast changes if things change. If you have an error, we can fix it straight away and we can get documents up in as little as half an hour. So, if you need something in particular, indemnity anything at all, we can get the documents up very, very fast by using this engine. It does mean though that the way our documents and our interviews look do differ slightly. So if you've come across from a competitor, say Now Infinity or whoever it was, it may look a little bit different. But the idea of today is to show you why it's different, how it's different, and the different options we have. So as Michael said, we do have 5 types of companies. Do you want to run us through those, Michael?
Yep. So standard, do you want to just click on standard companies? So standard companies has got 8 classes of shares. the big difference between our standard company and others is that we have the ability to provide successor director solution within it. So as you set it up, you can create the resolution, but our constitution actually discusses in a clause in relation to the utilisations as successor director. So for those who are listening now, I saw, I think it was Gary, who hasn't used the platform or understood our document. So successor director allows you in the case of an event such as incapacity or death to put into place a new director. So we'll have resolutions and minutes that allow that say that something happens to me tomorrow, that we can appoint Ashleigh as my successor director. I know that I have seen that happen where people would just go in and will lodge a 484 and replace a deceased director, for example. You're actually not allowed to do that. So you actually have a solution in place in relation to that covers that. So Family Protection Trust. So we have, for our strategists, we have a number of multi-document strategies. This is one area that I use. I'm writing a lot of these at the moment. So FPT Trust, so Family Protection Trust, in which we provide protection over equity in our clients' assets. So we effectively try and create what I term, we have a moat and castle, but I term moat and castle around our clients' assets, and we transfer equity in real property and other assets that they hold into an FPT or Family Protection Trust. Now, this company, this trustee company, is a special purpose type of company for that particular trust that provides protection in relation to it.
Cool. We have our SMSF companies.
SMSF. So we've got our standard special purpose company. Obviously, you're required to have a special purpose SMSF company as a trustee of your self-managed super fund. Big difference, variance on ours is that we only have one share class, being non-dividend or special shares, but it's actually a non-dividend share. If you refer to the SIS Act, and I don't know off the top of my head what that clause is, but you can not have the ability to pay dividends to a trustee of a self-managed super fund. So we only issue shares on our special purpose companies that are non-dividend paying shares. The next one is leading member special purpose trustee company. So this is just a type of bloodline protection in relation to SMSF. So like we're upgrading a lot of our clients through looking at their whole asset protection structure process, but leading member, just the easiest way to talk about leading member, I always refer to the royal family. So you think of the royal family at the moment, you've got the Queen would be the leading member of that special purpose trustee company. So the Queen would hold in their super fund the only leading member share, and she has control then. We will appoint other directors because we're required to under the SIS within that entity, but she will have control in relation to that because she's the leading member. Then on death, we'll have successor leading members. So we might have a secondary or a third leading member in which that share will automatically transfer to that next leading member. So we have leading member trusts and leading member super funds. But think of it as bloodline protection. But talking about the royal family, I guess, and I joke about it a lot lately, is that the secondary leading member probably would have been William but now you've seen Harry. I mean, you've seen Charles come back into favour because recently the Queen said that Camilla can be Queen. So you'd probably say Charles is now the secondary leading member. Next would be William. Harry was probably in there. Harry's been given the boot though because of Megan, so he's probably completely out of their super fund and their trust. And I can guarantee Prince Andrew has definitely been removed from the super fund and the Family Protection Trust, or the leading member trust.
Okay, so there are 5 companies. If you click on any company, you can search up the top by a document name, or you can just go into the category. You can click on about for each of the documents. You won't get a preview. I'm on the staging site, so there's going to be no preview in there. But you can. There's all the about information, benefits, risks, and all of that as well. So all of our documents have that. They will also have a video. I think it's No, it's not uploaded in the staging site. At the scroll, if you scroll at the bottom on the actual site under FAQs, we will start loading pretty short 2-3 minute how-to videos, which Alicia's working through at the moment, on how to do all of these documents. You can, and they do play in a separate window, so you can have that that video going while you're actually going through the interview as well, which and stop and start it to make sure you understand. I think we'll probably just jump into a standard company today. It's probably the easiest, and it gives you an overview of the whole interview structure. So the first step is we're going to choose our company. So we're going to choose the LYD standard company with the 8 classes of shares and the successor director option. We do give this notice that it's really important that the data that you enter into the interview, whether you, and as someone brought up before, being able to pull data from XPM. So we were approved this morning as an app partner with Xero. So that won't be far away that you'll be able to pull those details, but the details are still only as good as where they've come from. So if you haven't updated something in XPM and it goes through to ASIC, we can't help that. We can't change that for you. So it's very important that you do check all the information, whether you've typed it, whether you've copied and pasted it, or whether you've pulled it through from BGL or XPM. Still very important that you do check it. There is a how to register a company video here, which we will update once we finish today. We'll pop this webinar up on there. First step with all of our documents is to name the document and save it within your wizard. So this is within your organization. So everybody in your organization will be able to see it. You can move it around. You can save it in different folders. I'm just going to do Michael Jeffriess test. Oops. Michael test 1 today. That if you need help with the document at any time, you can just give us that name that you call it, and we can actually pull it up inside for you. We're going to save it just in my documents. If you've set up folders, all your different folders will appear there as well.
It's actually fantastic as well, Ash. Just, I mean, from a personal perspective, I've used it recently, a couple of things I wanted to do, and Geraldine or our support team sent me through the document within minutes of just sending through that document name and everything. So it's been very helpful.
Now we need to check our company name. So before we do the interview, we just need to check that the name's available. We are on the test server, so I'm just going to throw anything in there. No, I've obviously already done that one. So this is an example though, where this is the name that we've chosen that is already identical to a registered corporation. So you can still proceed, but it will need a manual review, and you just tick that. And in the interview, you would need to tick, that you do need a manual review, but I'll try to come up with a name that no one's going to have, just random words here. There we go. So it's available. If it's unavailable, it'll tell you, it'll come up in red, and you just need to find another one. So you can choose whichever legal elements you want it to be registered as, and then we click start interview. That's going to load up the interview. So that process is the same for all companies. Once you get into the company interview, you'll see a few little differences, but the first few pages on all of our documents are the same. I think I'm going to answer a couple of the questions on chat just by going through a couple of these pages. So just, I will try to get
there's some longer questions in there. Some of them, if we don't answer them during this, we'll download the chat and get back to everyone, but we'll endeavour to try and go through them.
So this page here is the same on all documents. It's just checking that that's the name you want to call it. At the moment, you do have to upload your logo. Tomorrow, when we release FuseSign, the logo that you have under my company will automatically be applied here. If you have multiple logos, so Michael runs multiple businesses, but he's only got the one account, you can change it and override it, but it will default to the logo under your company. So that's what will automatically be there. You won't have to upload it. It will also automatically tell you what size we recommend it to be, so it looks good on the document, but you can change that as well. So that's from tomorrow. You won't have to go and upload your logo. You just need to make sure it's correct under my company. We do have an option here where we built this because we had a lot of feedback from firms that didn't want to include our legal disclaimer. So if we choose to include our legal disclaimer, it will come with a letter from Abbott-Family to say that the document has been reviewed, and that provided the interview questions were asked correctly, it has been signed off by Abbott-Family, and it doesn't get edited or anything. You don't have to include that in your document. It's up to you. You can try it for the first few, and then after that, you can turn it off. Just while we're on this, if you see a little question mark anywhere, hover over it, because we're going to give you a lot of clues about what that question is about. So if you're not sure and you can see that, hover over it and have a look at it and see what it's reading. Did you have something there, Michael? No?
No.
Cool. Common address is something that we've just added into companies. This will only be here until we launch our XPM and BGL integration. The reason we've added it is if you've got more than one person or more than one spot in the interview where you're going to use the same address, you can put it here, and then you can choose it in other sections of the interviews rather than typing it again. This is just an interim thing until we get XPM, which will automatically update them for you. But it does quite make it easier. You can just add different common addresses in there. I'm going to ignore it for the sake of this, but you can use that feature if you want to. Director ID, we all know about. We don't do anything with the director ID. We don't collect it or anything, but we do just require that you do confirm that you've understood the requirements that have been set by ASIC. So there's a link there if you want to have a read, but we do just require you just to tick those boxes. Throughout the interview, you can use the buttons down the side here, or you can use the next buttons and the back buttons along the bottom there as well. So because we chose a standard company, we already populated a few things for you. We know it's a standard company. We know it's limited by shares. Again, you can see there my little question mark, so I can hover over it. And we know it's a standard company again here. So you can change it, but we do automatically populate it to the type that you've chosen there. The state and territory is to be registered. We're just going to put Queensland for the sake of this. Generally speaking, not that many use the ultimate holding company. So we do automatically populate it to no, but you can change that if there is an ultimate holding company. Do you want to run through what that one is, Michael?
Sorry, the ultimate holding company is when you have, say, a holding company that owns 100% of the shares or has control in the subsidiary entity.
Cool.
Control the decision-making process.
Yep. Now, this is the one that we tick. So had I gone through with that first company name I said, and it said it needed a manual review, I would just tick yes here, and then I'd put the reason, identical to a business name or whatever that reason was, it needed a manual review. I don't need a manual review for this company because that name was available. If I go into the next page here, it's already assumed it knows the name, it's pulled it through from that first page. So we don't have to change anything there. You can just double check it's correct. If you were not going to use that and you were going to use an ACN or something, you could choose that from one of these options here. But usually, am I correct, Michael, most use this option here, the standard one?
Yeah, majority use PTY Ltd. I mean, you do see some who use the full proprietary limited or PTY.Ltd. It's personal choice, but I would say 98% of the companies I see come through, or I do, the standard one.
Cool. Successor director. Now you don't have to include this. So this is an option like, do you want to include that feature, that succession into your resolution, yes or no? So I think Michael touched on it most. If you do choose yes, you will be required to enter the details of the successor director solution. Otherwise, tick no. If you do want more information on the successor director or would like more of a one-on-one, how does it work sort of thing, I'd recommend emailing Alicia. She can set up a demo with you and she can do it one-on-one with you. For this purpose, I'll go no, but this is one of the things.
This is a great option, just jumping in. This is a great opportunity to put a good solution in that does the right thing for your client, but also will earn you fee revenue at the moment. You should be going through and reviewing all your current constitutions and upgrading them to, it's always good to have a fresh upgraded constitution, but upgrading them to a new light year one that allows for, because the constitution needs to allow for successor director, and then also charging to put the successor director solution in place. So we're charging $330 to do that successor director, and then you can charge on top of that in relation to a constitution upgrade. So you might be able to wrap it up, say for $500 per one. If you've got 100 companies, you do the maths. It's fantastic.
Yep. And as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong here, Alicia, you don't have to do the successor director in the initial establishment. You can set it up, but then we do have an upgrade, correct, Alicia?
Yes, correct. You can always choose later if you want to add it in.
Yep. So if you just want to, get through a really fast, simple company establishment, you can then go back and then implement the successor director as well. Registered office. Now, this is where once XPM comes up, you'll be able to pull it straight through. For now, though, again, like I said, though, it's only as good as the information you have in XPM. So if it's out of date, it's not going to be right with ASIC, whatever we do. So I'm just going to fill this with any details here. And this is my registered office. So does the company occupy these premises? Yes or no? If I say yes, there's nothing further for me to do. If I say no, it's going to ask, well, who does occupy it? And then do I have consent? So I'm going to put the Countess is the occupier, and that they have given me consent, and that consent will come out with the company documents just to say that you are able to use those premises for your registered office. Clicking on next or using the principal place of business. So again, the same. Is it the same as a registered office? I'm going to say yes. If I said no, I could type in a different address as where the principal place of business actually is. But I'll say it's the same address, or it's one that we just put in. Now, company associates. This is where we put in, and I'll get Michael to take us through this a little bit more, everyone involved in the company. So the directors, the secretaries, and the shareholders. So everybody that's involved needs to be added as an associate. And within that entry, you say what their role within that company is. So I'll put in a 2-director company, both with some shares, and I'll show you how that works. So we've given some guidance here that, what you do need to include at a minimum. So making sure you get that right, otherwise it will be rejected by ASIC. To add company associates, so I'm going to say this company is for me and Michael. So we're both directors, we're both shareholders, and Michael's the secretary. So I know I need 2 parties in here. First one is Michael. So he's an individual. As I said, he's going to be a director, he's going to be the secretary, and he's going to be the shareholder. A non-share member, if you were setting up a company that was limited by guarantee, that's where you'd use that option. But you can't make Michael a shareholder and a non-share member in the same interview. So Michael's details in here, I don't have his saved, I might. Now, we had a few people come through about middle names and how that can go through into ASIC. So to get a middle name to come through, given, and then you put their middle name in here. So I'll chuck Michael's middle name in there, and that will make sure that the first name and the second name is populated through to ASIC. So you put in both names and only the surname under last name. If I'd used that common address feature at the beginning, I didn't, just because I'm going to show that regardless of having an integration, the interview is very, very fast to fill out. It's great to have these integrations, but as I said, they're only as good as the information. And, often I'd prefer to type it anyway to make sure that it is correct. Putting his address in, his date of birth. I'll just use mine for you, Michael. You're a bit younger.
You're 86.
I am 86. I'm getting old. And then born in Orange. So as I said before,
I feel extremely old now.
I feel like I've aged a lot in the last few months. Michael was our first company associate. So reading the instructions, if Michael was the only party involved in this company, I'd click confirm. I've done all my associates. I don't need to do anything else. If there's another person involved in the company, confirm and add next. So confirm and add next. I'm the other person. I'm an individual. I'm a director and I'm a shareholder. I'm not a secretary. I've given that to Michael. So putting my details in here, I'll put my middle name to show that it comes through. Whoops, can't type today. And then I'll just put another address in here. So regardless of that, integration or not, once you get the handle of these, they are very fast to fill out as it is. And we try to pre-populate as much as we can along the way. Intrapilly, we're going to have the same date of birth. I know I'll use someone else's, Grant's date of birth, but definitely not Grant's year of birth. Good, my Adelaide girl. Okay, so now I've finished. It's just me and Michael. If, say, Alicia was just a shareholder, I could put her in here as well, but it's just me and Michael. I can see here my 2 company associates are listed here. If I want to go back and check, I can just click back into them. I can delete them if I did it by accident. But these are my 2 parties to this company. Whatever capacity they're in this company. That has then appointed Michael and me as the directors. We now then need to allocate shares to any of these parties that we'd already said are a shareholder. So this part, some people do get confused, and I know some people have accidentally registered joint shareholders because the instructions weren't read. So each shareholder requires shares to be allocated to them, obviously, or it's not going to work. So my first shareholder allocation is just to Michael. Now, up here kind of gives you a hint. This is the share allocation for this one share entry. So if I click add shareholder, I've got my 2 people here. It's Michael Jeffriess. If I add another shareholder here, and I put my name underneath it, this is going to create joint shareholders because they're under the same entry. To create individual shareholders, you'd only put the one person here, delete that. Then at the end, you would confirm and add next as we did our company associates. So if you see two names listed under each other, underneath the shareholder, they will be joint and they will hold those shares together. Michael is a sole shareholder for these shares. Is he acting as a trustee for a trust? No. Now, what type of shares does Michael have? As we said, we do have the 8 different classes. We have assumed ordinary. It doesn't have to be. We just make that assumption because a lot of them do. Giving him 1 share and he's paid $2 for it. 0 of that is unpaid, so he's paid for them in full. It's calculated automatically. And because we said he wasn't acting on behalf of an SMSF or a trust, it already knows that these shares are beneficially held.
You don't have to make that decision. You can't change it. Just
no.
so
we know that already.
Based by that radio toggle button.
Now, if Michael had more shares, I could confirm and add more shares. So these buttons always appear. You either finished with your entry or you're adding more. So I'm going to say, you know, Michael also had some C-class shares in here. Just had 1 C-class share that he paid $10 for. That's all his shares. If I go confirm there, this is kind of my summary page. I'm still on my first shares allocation for my first person. Michael is my sole shareholder. Whoops, didn't know I could drag that. There you go. Michael is my sole shareholder. There's no one listed underneath him, so they're not joint. And Michael has 2 types of shares under the share heading, ordinary and C. If I've finished all my shareholders, I'd click confirm, but remember we said I was also a shareholder. So we're going to go confirm and add next. Now this is my second share entry. So my second person holding or my second bundle of shares. Now these are just for me. Once again, if I put me here, I'm the sole shareholder. If I put an add shareholder here and you see 2 names stacked on top of each other, anything below under shares, they're going to hold together. So this is just me. I'm not acting on behalf of a trust or an SMSF. And Michael's not as generous for me. I only get 3 ordinary shares at $1 each. That's it. Everything is confirmed. Confirm. I can summarize my second bundle of shares here is just for me and it's just ordinary shares being 3. And then I can click confirm. I now can check that my company associates, I've got 2 company associates. I may have 3 company associates because I may have appointed Alicia as a director, but she's not a shareholder. Then under my shares, Alicia wouldn't appear here because I'm not going to add any shares. Does that all make sense? If you've got any questions on any of that, jump onto. I'll just jump in possible. Is it possible to proceed to later tabs in the interview? Yes, you can go to any tab you want at any time, unless there's a prerequisite. So you can jump into, say, share allocation before your company associates, but it won't give you any options of who to put in there because it needs the information in the prior. But you can definitely jump through and put in what you know, press save, then come back to it later, definitely. We do have client interviews coming, so you could go in and put in what you know, press save, and send the remaining questions to your client that will automatically then come back in. You can do it that way too, but unless it's a prerequisite, you can jump to any page at any time. You just can't submit it. Last thing I can think of, populate the trustee information. So I'm assuming, Rosaline, does that mean you get the trust deed as well within the company? Is that what I'm reading, Michael?
No. So once you set up the trustee company, so you go through and do an interview, and then the name of that corporate trustee will then go through automatically into the trust part of the interview. So
we don't have that feed with ASIC yet. It's not a hard feed to get, so we can get that. We will have like a validation. So if you put an ACN in anywhere, say, you know, you've got one of your company associates is a company. Once you put the ACN in, you can validate it, and we'll get as much public information as we can from ASIC and populate it. But at the moment, that's I'll talk to Michael after about what exactly we need to do here. But basically anything's possible, you know, with technology these days. Then we have our officers. It knows who the 2 parties are. I'm going to put Michael and Michael. Relevant dates is a new thing. You can choose to set everything to today's date, or you can choose to populate dates in the future. So if I choose I want the Constitution date to be today, I click yes. If no, I click no, and then choose my date. Same with the first directors meeting. So me and Michael aren't meeting till tomorrow or whatever to sign off. I could click no and put in another date. Minutes, this is something that Michael, as an accountant himself, and wanted to add to our companies, is we give standard minutes. But if you want to change thing, add bank account details, or rearrange sort of the questions that we ask in the minutes, you can click yes, and you can sort of customize it a little bit. So you can have a read through. Michael, do you use that option, or do you?
I do. I use it all the time, because I put our tax agent appointment in straight away. So when they're signing the folder, we can appoint them. Bank details, if they've got a bank they want to nominate. Generally, they might not know at that stage, but I'll definitely, if it's going to be a trading company or a company that requires an ABN or anything, I definitely put that on, because it just says that the directors have resolved to apply for that. So it allows us to do that. And same as insurance. And if it's an entity that's going to need accounts and financial records, 100%. I have that in a minute.
Very good. Okay, so this final page here are just the ASIC privacy statements that we have to put in there. And that's basically all we do. So this one, when you get your ACN back from ASIC, it will populate in this field. You do not have to touch it. It's just there for record so that you know that the ACN is back. The final page of the interview is the most important part, and it's really important that you go through. And these, because they have red stars here, you can't even submit your document until you read it. Reading these questions will make sure your ACN comes back instantly. You know, we got it under 2 seconds. So if you follow these instructions, your ACN will be 2 seconds at the absolute most. The first feature we have introduced is that 99% of errors with companies is because the address is wrong. So we want you to check the addresses before we go to ASIC. So you use this button up the top, check your addresses. It's going to do like a mini integration with ASIC, and it's going to mini check the addresses in your template. If you've got any red crosses here, go back and check them. If you do get a red cross and you think that's still correct, you can still submit it. Sometimes ASIC, this is my address, sometimes it never would submit until actually the NBN added my address to the international. So if you're still sure that it is the correct address, you can just still tick it. I've checked it, I'm still happy with it. We have, I think, Mount Tamborine in Queensland always gets a bit confused because there's new suburbs out there. So just check the address. If you're still certain it is, that's fine, you can move on. We just want to make sure that you've checked it. The second stage, and I'll talk a little bit about this as well, is making our payment to ASIC. We need to make our payment before we submit it. Now, in the past, we have taken the money and paid it to ASIC. This integration ensures the payment goes straight to ASIC, no questions asked. So we bypasses us and it goes straight to ASIC, which enables it to be twice as fast. To do that, you need to leave here. It's fine. It's going to take you to the ASIC payment gateway. I am on a testing server, so you can try and copy my credit card details, but they won't work anywhere. This is not ours. As you can see up here, it's IP payments. This is the ASIC payment gateway. It's nothing to do with LYD docs. We do get a number of questions coming back about a receipt from ASIC. We do not, I think there are already a few on there. So we have tried to get receipts from ASIC, but the way that the new ASIC API works is they do not issue receipts. We can't then fudge an ASIC receipt, obviously. All we can give you is the receipt number that ASIC give us. So note that down. And they have said, and we've had this signed off by a number of lawyers and accountants, that the ACN certificate is the receipt for company establishments. So print out a second copy, write your receipt number on there, and that will suffice for any and all accounting records in Australia. We
can't provide an invoice from LYD docs either, because as you can understand, we haven't taken a fee for that ASIC fee. Certainly we can provide, and we do provide invoices for and receipts for LYD docs document charges where it's applicable, but for ASIC fees, I can't create an ASIC fee when I haven't collected or invoiced for that.
Okay, great. So jump away for a second there. So write down your receipt number, put it on your ACN certificate, print out a second copy, and that is your receipt, and that will suffice. We do have text from ASIC on our support site that has confirmed that, and we have legal sign off on that as well. What's going to happen then is you press cancel out of there. You're going to be taken straight to my documents. Here's that document that I just created. That's where I saved it. It's paid to ASIC and it's complete. And I've got my receipt number is always here. So even if you forget to write it down, it's always going to be there. And my ACN certificate. This is a demo. I'm not going to get it, but you could download your ACN certificate there. Next question is, well, I need my constitution, and this is where we're a little bit different. So we've got our ACN back, but now we need our constitution. In order to finalize our document, we relaunch it. And if you remember a few seconds ago, I said there was one field in our interview process that has the ACN in there. If I load this one back up, just fetching all that information back from ASIC, go on to that privacy page, my ACN is already there. You can't change it. You shouldn't change it. Otherwise, the document's going to be wrong. You can't change anything else in the interview. All you need to do now is go to finalization. I've confirmed that my ACN has been returned successfully, so I can tick that final box now and I can click assemble. Everything there, so if I've chosen my successor director or not, that will come into the interview, into the document pack for you. So we'll load that one up. It's not all that fast on the staging server, but it normally assembles quite quickly into your PDF and you can download it. That is very, in a nutshell, how our interview structures work. So the company is the most complicated. We'll just jump on. Your ASIC log did not show that ASIC payment failed. Winnie, I'll get Geraldine to help you on that one. No, you don't need to save the data, Nicole. So as soon as the ACN comes back, all your data is already there. It's fetched it again from ASIC. So you don't have to do anything except press that final tick box to say you've got your ACN and then assemble your document. Edmund, yep, take a screenshot for safety. Otherwise, your ASIC receipt is always written under my documents. First thing, you guys don't have this yet because I'm on staging, but you will be asked if you want to order a hard copy. Ben is a big fan of our hard copies. I don't have an example around me, but they come in the foiled Abbott and Morley folders. So if you want to order a hard copy, you can jump through the order form process now. So
that's the hard folder, but then there's an eco version as well.
So my document is here, it's completed. We do have some other options available. So I could request legal review. I can download it. I can send it for e-signing and stuff like that. I'll see if I've got one that I can send to someone signed already. No. So that is in a nutshell. I'll just jump onto the Q&A. Last thing, I can thumb that one. Can we create share class with the same benefits for different shareholders, such as A class and AA class? Michael?
Yeah, we don't have an AA class, but we can certainly create custom classes where needed. So we can do that, but you can create share class with same benefits for different shareholders if you want. Just a custom and change at that point in time. If it's going to be a regular thing, then we can look at implementing that as well.
Con, when ordering documents, do we need to re-enter all the details? Do you mean hard copies?
Must be.
You don't need to re-enter. When ordering a hard copy, you don't need to re-enter. You just need to upload. The reason you have to upload the document is because you may do a company, an SMSF, an investment strategy, a will and all of that, but you don't want 10 different folders. So you can upload whatever documents you want. So you complete your documents and then only on one of those do you choose it to be the main one, and then you can upload whatever you want and the printers will print it. So if you've got internal documents, you can upload those and they will print them for you. But you do need to upload the PDFs, because otherwise if it just go order hard copy, then you'd have to do that again on the trust, then you'd have to do that again somewhere else, and you're going to get all different folders.
Yeah, you don't have to enter any info. You just have to upload the doc.
Or there's no other info that you have to answer. If you mean your details, you need to confirm their postal address, because it may be different. So if Michael's doing my company, I may want it sent somewhere else. So you do need to confirm, because that's not through us, that's through our printers at Burley Print. So they need to know this is where you're going to send it. And some people send it straight to their clients as well. Michael, in the previous webinar, you mentioned you also lodge a PPSR for director loans advanced to the company. You can do anything with EO by on these three dots. It might not actually be in your quick links under your surge. You can go to the EO page, the Eventum Optimum page, and upload your documents for stamping. So I don't think I've got. Can I
just run through that, Ash? That's a brilliant question, George, and I'd love everyone to jump in the chat quickly and put on what they charge for, say, a standard company, and I'll tell you what I charge from what the solution George is talking about. So if you want to jump in and say, we'll have a look what the average charge is. Most people are $990, $1,100, $1,200. I think you should all be. I think you should all be charging around. Yeah, you should be charging around 2,200. Just like Gary said. I'll tell you why. We charge 2,200. Some we charge 1,900, but we charge around 2,200. because we put in the successor director solution when we set up the company, and that can be multiple if there's multiple directors. But we also put in a loan security deed with a PPSR, because the company hasn't been in existence, or the entity can be a trust as well. It isn't in existence when you set it up, so it can't pay for itself to establish itself. So someone has to have lent that money, and that will be a director or shareholder or another person. So we'll set up a loan security deed that meets the requirements of the PPSR, and put a security interest over it, and we'll put it as a revolving one. So it's just not for the amount that costs to set it up. It'll be for any other funds
we
that
have
they
a lot of different value
going forward. So all of a sudden, you've got significant value in what you're providing. Because I know there's a lot of price pressure out there. People Google and jump on and go, hang on, I know you just paid $600 for that company. Yep, but there's a lot of IP in relation to setting it up, of course. And a lot of clients do set it up, and they stuff it up, and they come back to us and go, we screwed it up. And you have to fix it up. So
there you go. Another couple of questions. I'm just going to run over. Someone else just.
But what George was saying, we will have the loan security deed up soon. But at the moment, we provide the loan security deed and PPSR through EO. But we'll continue to provide the PPSR solution as well. So
just quickly, in your Surge apps, for those that aren't on the system, this is where you access everything to begin with. This is a demo account. Document Wizard you access through here. Trust, deed stamping, or anything through EO you can access here. You can expand your quick links, and there's mortgage and registration, PPSR, hard copies, order form, and that through there. One thing I wanted to answer quickly was the question there, Alison. Will a document be available that includes all of the interview questions that need to be completed? We don't have like pro forma style stuff for all of our documents yet. What we can do, and what I think we might do, is in the company, what we've added. Now, if I just see if I can download this, if it's going to.
Also, Guy said there, and there's been a few people who said, Ash, in relation to a PDF summary of the responses.
Yep, so that's what I'm about to show. So within the company, now this was going up before I went on leave. Here we go. So we have our bank account kit. Now, what the bank account kit, it comes for everybody. This here is a summary of all the details. So it's part of the bank account kit. It's probably the second to last page. You've got your legal disclaimer at the end. And it's not an official ASIC form, but it is a summary of everything that I put in, basic that I put into it. What we could do, Alicia, is do you want to create and put up onto the support site a fact find for companies? So use this template and just add in a little bits of details like how many shares and types. Alicia will make that available on the support site, and we'll send it out.
There's a couple of things that says, so Guy's saying it'd be good to have the date of birth, place of birth, because that's sort of checking. Yeah.
Okay, Alicia, let's get that done today. So in this bank account kit, let's also get what shares, how many shares, dates of birth as well. So everything that we're collecting. So let's expand on this. As I said to you guys, the reason we use Express Docs is because we can do this so fast. So guarantee by the end of the day, Alicia will have this summary page fleshed out. She can then remove all the data from the template and allow this sort of summary sheet as a fact find that you can then use. And maybe if you can make it an editable PDF as well, Alicia, so people can type into it.
Cool.
I think that's basically everything. Does anybody have any other questions for me? I'm just running through them quickly. I'll jump back into Surge quickly and just show you. So all of you on the new platform, you do have me up the top here. You can come, it does have out of office still. I'm only just back into the office. And on that note, thank you to everybody for their support over the last few months. My daughter passed away in early January, about 8 weeks ago. Very horrible time, but I'm finding my feet, and it's been the support from everybody and all of our users has been phenomenal. So thank you. But my out of office will turn off.
Yeah, thank that. And the support has been wonderful. I mean, it's been coming through thick and fast through the whole thing, and it's been just amazing the ecosystem and community we have.
Really is.
There was a question, an email earlier too, that I saw that someone said they hadn't received the instructions how to download.
Geraldine's just put the link. So
okay, fantastic. It is. I actually did mine yesterday myself, and I called Ash and I said, "Have I done it right?" Because it was so good. It took me about 2 seconds. 2 seconds, and I went, "Have I missed something?" And then I checked the documents.
But anyway, if anyone have any, wants a one-on-one about how to do companies or anything, you can message me direct here. I'll take my out of office off. You check your LYD Docs announcements. If we send things out, this one is a replay from the 8th. webinar that Grant did, we'll send this webinar and we'll load it to the announcement chat. It will also be in our support site that you can access through your quick links at all time as well. So our support site. I think that's pretty much it. If anyone has anything else, thank you, John. I'm slowly finding my feet again. It'll take some time though. I think that's it. Do you have anything, Michael?
No, I've got nothing further to add.
Very good. Okay, guys, thank you so much. We'll get a recording of this out. Ben is available at the moment. He won't kill me for saying this, but you can give Ben an email or a call, ben@lightyeardocs.com.au, if you want to upgrade to the new platform. If you're doing more than 1 or 2 documents a month, coming onto a subscription package is definitely the best option and a lot cheaper. So you can send him an email. He's here now and can take you through what options we have. And we also have custom plans. Our Pepper course is coming up again in April. I think they're selling them at half price at the moment, the tickets. So get on to Ben today as well to get your tickets to that one. You can do it online at your own pace, or you can do it as part of the course for the 3 days. Yes, with Grant.
So if you don't like Grant's voice, do the online one.
Yeah, if you'd rather do it at your own pace, do the online one. But email ben@lightyeardocs.com.au or through support or through Surge. So again, like I said, if you need support, you can email us. We're still going to be there, but you will get the quickest response in Surge. So, some people think email will be the fastest. Guarantee you will get a very, very fast response in Surge. And you can also use the live support feature there to ring straight away. That's it. That's everything from me. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Good, Michael.
Thank
you,
you.
Alicia. Sorry, I didn't really.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks, Alicia. Thanks, Ash. It's great to have you back live on webinar. Great to be working with you again live. And thanks everyone for joining us.
All right. See you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.